Our techo is already like, well, we are waiting. It's like, dude, chill.
Wait, what? Where is he typing?
In the podcast, do you want a link?
No, I have it. I just can't see the chat for some reason.
Let's.
Oh, I see it.
All right. Finally, we're live. Sorry to keep everybody. Where is he? Man, is yeah. Calm down, guys. We're here. Sorry it took so long. Calm your tits. I had to like Photoshop the thingy because I forgot because I'm very professional woman. Okay, do not question my professionalism.
It's all good. Hey, what's up, chat?
All right. Well, so first and foremost, for anybody who doesn't know, welcome everybody to. Hold on. Today's episode is episode 10. I have to rename. So today is episode 10 of the L.A.I.N podcast. My name is Adara, and I am a YouTuber, VA, and writer. And with me, we have a very special guest, Eagle Man. Say hi. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, what's up? I'm Eagleman Freeman. I'm an older artist online, and I really like to draw like women with big titties and stuff. I mean, okay, like let's be honest here. Let's be a bit professional here. I do have a webcomic that I make,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm basically sometimes stream. I guess I don't know. Like that's basically what I do. I just draw pictures and comics and stream sometimes. Yeah, I've been doing this for like 5 to 6 years now.
5 to 6 years. That's a really long time. And what got you into art? Like, what's your story with art? Like, what are the events of your life that got you to where you are today? That made you decide I want to pursue art for a living. Tell us about that. How did it go for you?
Yeah, that's a good question there. So I just want to laugh, but it's fine. It's fine.
No,
Uh,
don't worry. This is a
it's
chill conversation. Everything is supposed to be chill. Like, it's just two bros talking about art and stuff. So don't worry. You don't have to. You can relax. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm relaxed. I'm relaxed. Okay, so the events that led to me being an artist, I kind of always knew that I like to draw. Like as most artists, I think are that way. Like they start very like when they're like small and stuff. They just can't stop drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so that was definitely there like for my entire life, right? But I never like took it too seriously until I went to like basically went to the university, and my background was basically biology, and I have slowly started to realize that if I don't actually do what I like in life, like which always like it was just pointing towards art, right? Like because
Mm-hmm.
I never took like my hobbies too seriously.
Uh huh.
So it was like it all pointed towards art. Like I have to change my life. I have to do something. I have to
Mm-hmm.
start taking this seriously. Otherwise, I'll just die inside or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it just felt like I just have to take. I guess that chance or something. Not even chance. There was no chance actually. I was like, I just have to do it. Like I don't know. So I
Right.
started like looking up mm, tutorials and stuff on how to draw better. I was just like went on a lot of like YouTube videos. I just started absolutely grinding my ass off, like just drawing every fucking day for hours and hours.
Mm-hmm.
And practice, and I mean, I that didn't really change. I still feel the same, but mm,
Do you practice as often as you did then, or do you feel like you're taking the practicing a little less seriously these days and focusing more on your current objectives, which are, for example, drawing that you want to get done, or maybe something like your comic.
Yeah, it's most. I mean, well, I mean, we could talk about how it should be and how it is.
No, be honest about it.
I mean, I think for most artists, it's the practice sessions. I mean, at least I think like in the beginning, everyone practices like crazy. Like
Mm-hmm.
you just can't stop. And then at a certain point, you just realize that why am I practicing this? I don't need this right now. You know. So as you said, like you just focus on the objectives and you just practice what is in front of you. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know, like you need some sort of I don't know. You need to draw some like ancient Greek building, right? You study Greek buildings for a little bit or something, and then you try to make something on your own, or like some anatomy part that you need to figure out. You just study that for a couple days,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
yeah, those like days can be grindy. I usually prefer it when you focus on one thing that you wanna, you know, just focus on one thing before you move on to the next one
Mm-hmm.
should be the best way of approaching it.
Yeah, you shouldn't like be like ADHD and be like a little bit of everything, because
Yeah,
everything
but
is gonna come crumbling down if you do that, right?
yeah, and it did.
It
You know, it's not.
did.
It's not. I'm not saying that I always doing it the way I should be doing it. I'm usually actually doing it the ADHD way,
Yeah, right. Yeah, I get that.
when you just lose your focus because I feel like I need to focus on, I don't know, drawing heads. Oh no, I also need shoulders. I need chests. I need what the chest is close to the stomach, and you know you just go like that, and suddenly you're practicing like four different things, and then you forget about it. Then you're depressed, and then you just wake up, and it's like that all the time. You know?
Yeah, the cycle of the artist is
Yeah.
definitely complex one. I definitely get those days, right? It's like because I'm always like extremely busy. I actually do have ADHD, right? So
Mm.
I'm always like super busy. So like there's always a lot that I have to do and very little time. So sometimes um I do something like I'm sorry, did you put like a loudspeaker or something by any chance? I'm kind of listening to echo from my end.
No, I'm not listening to your podcast, but I mean, wait, I'll check.
All right, hold on.
No, I don't think so.
Uh is it echoing for you guys? Just wondering. Oh yeah, so it is echoing. Damn.
Wait, what?
Yeah, a bit. Damn it. What is going on?
I mean, I put you a little bit lower, maybe.
Let's see.
Did it change anything, chat?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it changed. Now it's Gucci. No wait.
Interesting.
Oh Jesus Christ. Ah jeez. Hold on.
I don't know how that's possible. I guess the mic is somehow picking up my headphones. I don't know how it's.
Oh yeah, maybe it's that. That's a possibility, definitely.
Hmm.
How about now, guys? Is it a little bit better? Um. All right. So hopefully it's not too bad. Yeah, that's much. Okay.
But
So I got distracted. What were we talking about?
yeah, I mean, to answer your question that you asked, like, no, I don't practice as much as I used to when I started.
Right.
Like, and I went like for the hunger because you're like become like a sponge. You become like super hungry for the information, and you just like eat it up. You just gobble up all the new information like so easy. But then like you start to hit like walls, right?
Right.
After a while, so you have to like kind of introspect and like look into new ways of improvement.
Right.
And this is where artists like get stuck, right? As I got stuck multiple times in my life in various ways with art. But then you just kind of usually what helps me, I just look at other artists and sometimes I just figure out like maybe what I'm missing. I don't know.
No.
It just goes like that.
Yeah, I get that definitely. No, in my case, like I was saying, like I also have those days where I have a shit ton to do all the time, right? So,
Mm.
for example, if I'm studying German, sometimes I'm like, no, my brain doesn't have the energy to keep going. I'm going to do YouTube stuff, or then if I
Mm.
get a little bit of energy, I go and do German again, or I do a little bit of writing, and then I go German and then study, and it's like really bad because I never finish anything. I just end up doing a little bit of everything, and it feels like I am not getting any progress done.
Yeah, that is also very bad for your mental because uh, you usually want to finish stuff. Like if you finish something, like you get this rush, right? And you usually use that rush for something new, creative. But if you just like start like a million projects and don't finish any of it, you just feel horrible. You're just gonna feel like mm, there's just so many things that I have to work on, right? I mean, it's not really that true that you have to work on all of it, but your brain also always telling you like so many projects that I started, and I don't know. It's like I also have like so many projects, right? I feel like my comic is always like anchoring me to that one thing. That for some reason I decided that that's going to be the thing that I'm gonna do, and every time I feel lost, I just come back to it, right? Like I start some new projects and it goes nowhere. I hate it. I don't have time for it, right? And I just go back to the comic. It's always like my I don't know,
Right.
like my home, my safe, my safe space.
No, I get it, definitely. Um, so, talking about the comic, let's start talking about that first, since we're already talking about it. Um, like, what inspired you to draw a webtoon? Like, of all the medias of art, like how did you start off? Like trying to make art a living? Like, did you start off with commissions, or did you directly start off with the comic, or did you start off just Twitch streaming? How did it all start off for you? What
Hmm.
was your
Well,
plan if you had one?
well, that's a bit of a yeah. I don't know. Like my plan was basically to start off with a comic,
Mm-hmm.
because I never felt like doing commissions. Like I just couldn't bring myself doing commissions for other people. Even though I did some commissions, I never wanted to end up like because I knew people, right, that want to start their own webcomics, but they are so busy with commissions that they just never get to it, and they never got into it over the years. Like they just always talk, "I'm gonna start the webcomic tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm gonna start the project," right?
Mm-hmm. It's
And
always tomorrow.
yeah, it's always tomorrow, and they never
Tomorrow is that
started.
magical, mysterious land of
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
future, right? And then tomorrow arrives, and it's like, no, not this tomorrow, the tomorrow after
Yeah,
tomorrow.
tomorrow after tomorrow. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So the way I did it was basically I just started posting the comic almost immediately. I just started making it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, "Holy shit, this looks bad."
Uh huh.
So I was like, "Okay, I have to study more art, right, to change it." And like after 6 months or something, I posted another version of the same comic, and I was still like, I'm not happy with this after a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, I studied more and more, like for I don't know, maybe a year or something. I don't remember really like these dates, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there was this point where I was like, okay, I like this. I like
Okay.
how this looks, and I'm just gonna go with it, right?
Okay.
When
Right.
I reached some sort of level with my art, now when I look back to it, it still wasn't great, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it to this day. Like when I look at the first page, I'm not like this is so horrible, right? I'm not like that. But when I
Mm-hmm.
look at the older ones, I'm always like, okay, this no,
Mm-hmm.
please no.
So, are you?
Yeah.
Would you say you're still satisfied with your art right now, or have you went down the slope again of like, mm,
It's like up and down. Like I don't know. Like I would say that sometimes I'm definitely not very satisfied, and I just tell myself that no, okay, it's fine. I just make this page, and then I'll make the next one. It's gonna be better.
mm-hmm,
But yeah, and like when you do web comics, it's kind of like the art isn't that important to be that great, even though it's very
really?
good if it's good.
Really?
If it's just when people read, and even when like I'm an artist. Let's say I'll just call myself an artist for the sake of argument.
Right.
When when I read someone else's comic and it has a lot of mistakes, I just don't give a fuck. I
Aw.
still, I mean, it's not like okay, like not like I if it's like super like giga bad, maybe I won't read it. But if I just see some stupid mistakes, that
Mm-hmm.
I see that it's a mistake, I just don't care that much, like because I'm not even trying to look for them,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it just flows. I don't know, like the webcomic just flow. Sometimes you see like someone has a weird like arm length or like smaller head or different
Slender
eyes,
heads. Slender leg.
different
Slenderman.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah, Slenderman. Like I don't know, like it just looks completely different from the previous page, and I don't even notice it. Like I have to like super focus on it to notice
Mm-hmm.
it. So yeah,
Definitely.
I don't think it matters that much in comics. Like I think what matters in comics is posting a lot and posting regularly, and that is basically my biggest problem and always
Mm-hmm.
has been. But we're not talking about that now, so yeah, let's just
I mean, we can because
uh
from what I know, because it's something that I've always been curious about. From what I know, in your case, you post per page, right?
yeah,
And that's the first time I've ever even heard of that comment. Sorry, that what's the word? The
method.
concept, yeah, that method, right, of
Oh
posting.
really?
Yeah, because I was always like, how does that work? On one end, I understand it. It's like, oh, if you post per page, you post more often. However, I don't know. I feel I personally would prefer for the artist to post the whole thing, like the whole chapter,
Yeah.
because if the person say, let's say someone does a page, how often do you post? Like just so I get an idea.
Oh god, as I said, that's a problem. So I can't really tell you like a exact amount, right? But I am aiming to post at least twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
That will be my goal.
Oh,
I
that's pretty
and I
good.
and I definitely did, and I even posted like 4 times a week when
Mm-hmm.
the comic was beginning.
Uh huh.
But nowadays it's like okay, sometimes I post once a week, sometimes I post once to every 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I just post twice a week
Mm-hmm.
again,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like that has more to do with my mental than anything. Like, but I would, and when it comes to the one page thing, yeah, it's definitely bad for reading. If
Mm-hmm.
you're like interested in reading webcomics, you're probably like also interested in like torturing yourself
Mm-hmm.
because like the people who read webcomics, like they have to have the strongest mental ever because, but it's so normal for this to be in webcomics. Like so many webcomics post once per page and irregularly,
Mm-hmm.
but these people still read them and still support them. And
Right.
I think the way they do it is that they just don't read it for 2 months and then they come back and they read a chunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's how they circumvent the one page posting. And also about the one page posting, one thing that's good about it is every page gets you traction on the website.
Mm-hmm.
So every page technically gives you the option of getting more subscribers and more readers and stuff. This is why it's probably such a preferred method compared to the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're kind of losing readers all the time, you're also gaining new ones. Like if you get a new one, they're gonna read the whole thing. That's great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, it's basically just social media thing, I guess you could call it. Just posting frequently is better.
Right.
What is bad? I'm not too bad about it. It's like every single page just sparks speculations in the readers, and they just comment on every single like not always, but sometimes they just comment on every single page, and you don't know how to respond because you don't want to spoil it for them.
Right.
But it's like on every single page, like imagine if you like write a book and every single page gets a discussion. It's
Oof.
like it's a bit
The,
weird, isn't it?
yeah, definitely. That's how I thought about it. Like, I thought about it like that. I thought about it in like a series. Like, oh, I don't know if instead of posting an episode of a series, somebody posted like, I don't know, the way I see it would be like, I don't know, like 5 minutes of that episode or 2 minutes of that episode per week
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Or like posting like a few pages, 1 to 3 pages every week instead of a full page.
Hmm.
That's how I saw it. That was my perspective on it. But it seems like in the Webtoon world, it does kind of work. Like it has its ups and downs, it has its way that it works because from what I can, that my interpretation of it is while you're not getting, while you're losing people, those people that like are impatient and annoyed with the flow, you are gaining really loyal fans. You're getting a really
Yeah.
loyal community, right? Like the one you
Crazy
have.
people.
Yeah, which is
Hardcore
almost,
fans.
yeah, definitely, which is almost like a little group of friends that you make, right? It's like
Yeah. so some of those I don't know a lot of those people actually, especially on those webcomic sites. Like I know like most of the people that are like cheering on in the chat and stuff. Like I know them from the streams, not from the comic, right? They
mm-hmm,
kind of just know me from both. They know me from both worlds, but there's a lot of people who like just read the comic and they don't even know that I stream and they don't know me at all.
mm-hmm. That
And
is,
some of them are like, I'm not saying weird, but they're like, there's this one guy who just, I feel like he understands the comic better than I do. Like he just posts almost under every page and he just writes these like long paragraphs and he always like connects the dots from previous pages. And I feel like he's almost like a spoiler machine because a lot of the times he's right.
wow. Good.
Sometimes he's not, but sometimes he is, and I'm like, what am I supposed to say to him? You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
wait and see. But he always fucking, yeah, Goblin. It's called Goblin Slayer or something. Not Goblin
Damn.
Slayer. Something like Goblin.
Is he the Goblin Slayer, like reference to the anime, or is that just
No,
his
no,
name?
no. He's what's his name? Like Goblin Reader or something. I don't remember. I just remember that he always posts. Like sometimes, just you don't post anything and you just
Right.
look at the whatever notification
Uh
and
huh.
you see that he comments something on like a page that was posted 3 years ago because he made a connection with the page that is currently
Mm-hmm.
being
Ah,
published.
yes, the
And
classic theorizer. I know that
yeah,
community quite
yeah, yeah.
well.
He's like, oh, Goblin Marauder. Yeah, okay. He's like a super theorizer, and I mean, I love it that my comic kind of developed this guy eventually. Like, I feel like that does show something. And I also developed a hater
Mm.
who hate the fact that I didn't want to show nudes in the comic,
Oof.
and he actually went like on a tirade. Like he actually was like, I don't know, he was like a pervert because I remember checking like his comment history and he did this for a lot of different comics, but he was especially triggered by my comic
What the
because
fuck?
I had a sort of like a I mean that's sort of, it was like a sex scene right in my comic, but
Okay.
it was censored
Okay.
kind of because like the girl was basically wearing a cloak while she was having sex,
Okay.
and and he was so triggered because why would you wear a cloak while having sex? And I tried to explain that because if you're like pressed against a hard surface, it will hurt.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention the
Because
fact that a lot of people like there are people out there that find lingerie or like thin clothing or
yeah,
yeah, they find that a lot hotter than the person being naked. They,
yeah, there's definitely fetish like that for sure. So
yeah.
he was definitely not like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like he was like one of the few haters that I had. I mean, there
Uh-huh.
were some haters that told me that the comics are just too slow, and I was like, yeah, I guess. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I can't do everything perfectly. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying my best to write and draw this and make the entire world, and like so there's like so many things that you can make a mistake in. So it's
Mhm.
like I guess that goes for comics specifically, but
Mhm.
you know if you just imagine it, it's like so many things that can go wrong. You're bound to make mistakes, and you just kind of have to roll with it.
Mhm. So, what do you think about like the whole perfectionist mentality? Because you said so yourself, like, oh, the first time that I posted my comic, it sucked. I wasn't happy with it. Then I
Hmm.
posted it again, and I was like, and then I posted third time. It's like, okay, now I'm good with it. So, how does that work in the website that you posted it? Was it always the same site? And if it was the same site, did it raise any eyebrows? For example, the first person that read it, or like there was like, oh, like it's different now, interesting.
Mm.
I remember this, and
Interesting, but interesting question actually, because I never had to deal with this because every time I posted it on a different website. The first website I posted it was on Tumblr,
mm-hmm,
and then the second version was posted on DeviantArt,
mm-hmm,
and the third version, well, the final version, was posted on Tapastic, as it was called back then. So no, I didn't have to deal with this, but I know I have a friend who did
mm-hmm.
deal with this, and people are like, they're like understanding usually, but at the same time, you always have those people who gonna say that they like the old version better, and unfortunately, like, you have to make the decision, right? Of like, just you either understand this or yeah, I'm sorry, but this is just how I see it. You always have to like think about it, like it's your artwork, right? So
Definitely.
you should be the one who should have the right to change it. Then you should never. I don't think you should ever be caught up with what the readers want, because that will slowly like end up being almost like fan service stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
it's fine to do some, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I do think like it's fine to acknowledge
Mm-hmm.
some of the people or some of the things that you like, but
Mm-hmm.
also you both basically asked two questions, and one of the question was like the perfectionist mentality.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole perfectionism mentality, right?
Mm,
Because my
I
personal
okay.
philosophy of it is like in theater we were taught this: aim for perfectionism, you're gonna get something good. Aim for something good, you're gonna get something meh or mediocre. And if you aim for mediocrity, it's going to look like shit, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I agree to that to some extent, right? I think you should aim not for perfectionism, but just to do the best that you can. But what does the best that you can actually mean? It doesn't mean that it has to be 100% perfect in your eyes, but it should be something that for you that is improvement. It should be something that is good, that
Mm-hmm.
you don't see any immediate flaws. If there are flaws that you see at maybe the last minute, then to not stress about those flaws and just let them be, right? Because what can be a flaw for you, it can be like a fascinating theory for someone else, or it can be a nudge, or it be like creative for another person, right? So I think a person should aim to do their best, but not to the point that it blocks them from actually finishing the product. It like,
Yeah.
for example, if you're done with, like, if you're almost done with something, and you're like, and you say something like, I don't like it, it's not perfect enough, it's not good enough, it's not how I envision it, then you're already doing something wrong. You have to
Well,
just let it go and publish it.
yeah. I mean, there's definitely artists that are like that. Like, I don't know, Tarantino or something. Like, what's his name? Kubrick. Like, there's like these autistic like super artists that only like they almost have to have it like 99%.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they just hate it. These
Yeah.
people are also very toxic and just fucking yell at everyone.
Yeah.
But it's like I respect it, and I heard something. I heard something about perfection today actually on
Mm-hmm.
a stream when I was like watching someone.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't an artist, was a fucking League of Legends streamer, but he's put it pretty well when he said like you should strive for perfection but not expect it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is really good because you can because if your expectation, like, you can't expect perfection, but you should try, like as you said, like you should try your best, and that is, I think, it is striving for perfection. Like, you want it to be perfect, but you also need to be realistic about what you can actually do, and like you can't expect it to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You can expect it to be on the max level that you can do, maybe a little bit over if you really try.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a good mindset to have, because as you said, like, you need to publish, right? Like, if you don't publish and you just constantly try to rework something, you're never gonna get stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you're like, you're never gonna achieve perfection no matter how hard you try.
Mm-hmm.
That is also another thing.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it would just mentally destroy you, like, if you try.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've seen people who are like, I feel like they're almost stuck in their cycle. Like, they just try to improve
Mm-hmm.
forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But what are they
definitely.
improving for? Like, I don't know what they're improving for. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what their goal is. Maybe they're like some crazy genius that's eventually going to come up with something insane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe they are just stuck in their cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. If you get obsessed, it's going to like it's not going to be a good place. Like nothing will ever be finished. You will be always running around in circles no matter what you do. So you have to accept that there is literally nothing in this world that is perfect. Nothing is perfect. Maybe if you look at geometry, like a spiral is perfect, a circle can be perfect, but other than
Yeah, those are
that,
concepts.
yeah,
Those are
concepts,
more like
yeah,
concepts.
exactly. But other than that, like art, no art is perfect. None. And you need to accept that. Just do your best, put your love in it. And it's like, I think it's like a very good way to say it. The sentence you said is like easier to remember than the whole thing with theater analogy of like strive for perfection and you'll get something good. But it's basically like strive for perfection, but don't expect it. I think, yeah, that's definitely
Yeah,
easier to
I,
remember.
I think the main mechanic of that concept is it just protects you from being lazy.
Yeah.
That is important. Like, you don't want to fucking half-ass it. Like, I never
Mm-hmm.
half-ass my comic, right? Maybe I
Definitely.
half-ass like one draw. Like, yeah, okay, maybe I half-ass one like drawing out of like 100 when I'm like, okay, I don't give a fuck about this particular one.
Uh huh.
But like, it's you should always like try your best, and trying your best, I think that comes with trying or striving for perfection. But
Yeah.
yeah, you have to be realistic, otherwise you're just gonna. And like, the worst part about, oh god, like, worst part about people who are always going for perfection or trying perfection, like, they become so smug, and they become like hard to deal with,
Mm.
because they over focus on something, like as
Mm-hmm.
you said, like, they just walk in a circle, but they're
Mm-hmm.
just walking in a prettier and prettier circle all the
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
they're like, you better not fucking trash talk my circle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see how good this circle is? Like,
Yeah.
you can't draw a circle like that. And you can be like, yeah, but I don't want to draw a circle. But it's important. No, it's important for you. You just don't understand. You don't see it because you've been focused on this one thing for 20 years, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Or
hard to explain.
maybe it's like they're drawing the circle prettier and prettier, right? And they're like, oh, look at my circle, it's immaculate. But you are outside of the circle and you're just looking at the circle, right? And you're like, yeah, but it's just a circle.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a circle, dude. Chill, right? Right. So it's like, but it's perfect. It's like, yeah, but it's just a circle. Who cares?
Like, get it to an 85% good circle, and you're golden, and move on
Yeah.
to the next thing.
Exactly. Nah, fuck. I would say 80% is good. Like I have this weird thing with the number 9. I don't like the number 9. Like, I don't like 9s out of 10. I don't like 90 out of 10, 90 out of
I
100.
like nines because for me they are the tens because then I never have to say that something is a ten. You know, I always say it's a nine when something is a ten, basically, or like because it's never perfect, right? But people get so upset like when the standard for rating something is like 9 plus, or like you have to be around that range. Like they just get so upset if you call something a 7, even though 7 is above average, still better than 50%. It's basically super good, but people just get upset. I don't know.
Yeah. No, for me, like, I don't know. I'm very comfortable with the number 8 because I don't know. If you think about it, the number 8 is one of the most perfect numbers there are because it's symmetrical both horizontally and vertically. And if you cut it on either side in any way, it's still going to be symmetrical, right?
Yeah, but so is 0. You know.
That's true. Fuck. You ruined 8 for me.
Yeah, sorry.
No, but like my point is like in the circle. We're going back to the circle.
Zero doesn't. Yeah, 0 doesn't count because you don't rate anything 0, not
Yeah.
even the
No, you
worst
would
things.
rate something a 0 out of thing if it's like the worst thing that you've ever seen in
It
your
has to be
entire.
the worst thing on earth.
Yeah. I mean, no, like I have definitely nah. Is there and
I mean,
not
to me,
not
when something is so bad that I laugh at it,
mhm.
it's never. It can be a 0.
Oh
Like I
no.
can't. It's probably the other way around. It becomes a 10 suddenly.
Oh yeah,
It's
like
just so dumb.
if you think about like the room or who killed Captain Alex, those are just they're not 10,
No,
dude. They're
no,
20 out of
they
10.
are. I mean, they are great. Like my girlfriend loved Who Killed Captain Alex. Like she
You,
was fucking laughing so hard. And I really need to watch Bad Black. Bad Black seems like it's a banger as well.
yeah, definitely have to see Bad Black. Yeah, my Proxen loves, my boyfriend Proxen also loves Who Killed Captain Alex. He actually showed it to me, right? Like, I don't know, one day we were talking about, like, I don't know, memes, and he was like, oh, you've never seen Captain, Who Killed Captain Alex? It's the best movie, dude, from Hollywood. It's the shit, dude. It's art, dude.
I know why he knows. By the way, because he's a Forsen boy. He watches Forsen, so
Yeah,
it's not really that surprising that he knows.
yeah, definitely. But I didn't know. But I don't know. The funny thing about Proxen is like it's fine that like he's sitting right beside me drawing, so he doesn't mind. But the funny thing about him is that he talks about something he likes, right?
Mhm.
And then I'm like, okay, let's check it out. And then he retracts. He's like, oh, but what if you don't like it? Maybe you won't think it's funny. Are you sure you want to watch it? And it's like, dude, you just spent I don't know how long trying to convince me that this thing is good. You sold me, and now you don't want to watch it anymore. Like, what do you want
Yeah, he's
from me,
too
dude?
embarrassed about his the things he likes. You know, like my comic. He likes my comic for some reason. I think at least I think he used to. I don't know if he still does. So it's also like. I
Oh,
mean, I'm
I'm
not
sure he
surprised he's
does.
embarrassed by that. So.
No, yeah, no. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. But yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways, let's move on a little bit. Um um I wanted to ask you uh what must one do to create a webtoon? What's some of the things you wish that you were told before you started? And yeah, like tell me about that. What is something like what is the nuggets of wisdom you would give someone who wants to do a web comic that you haven't said by now, like don't be a perfectionist and you recommend uploading one pagely instead of chapterly. But like I don't know, think about you from like 5 years ago. It's like if you could go back in time, put your hand on the shoulder of 5 year younger you, would be like, dude, do this instead, or you should do that, like, or even to anyone. Like what is the one thing
Hmm.
that people always make mistakes with that you just would give general advice to?
Okay, I'll just give you a joke answer and then a serious answer.
All right.
Like the joke answer for me will be stop playing video games. You're too old for that. Uh, just focus on the comic. But let
Proxim
me
just
let me
gave me
think. Okay, so
Proxim just gave me a look of I'm in this picture and I don't like it.
okay, so okay, I will tell you this thing that I didn't know.
All right.
Absolutely didn't know this one,
All right.
and this goes for streaming as well.
All right.
You don't understand how snowbally or like how much you're riding a wave of something that's popular at the moment
Mhm.
and or a platform that's developing, and you should not underestimate that because for example on Twitch my stream was growing pretty fast when I was started streaming, right? And
Mhm.
I thought that's normal, but it's
Mhm.
not. The reason why it was happening is because the art section was not developed back then.
Oh.
The reason why my comic had a pretty good traction in the beginning was because the site wasn't developed that much. You
Mhm.
know, so your competition is not that big
Mhm.
when you are on a new website,
Mhm.
and you might think that oh this is just how it is for me, but no it's not. You also have like you but you just don't see it. You only see it after a while that you missed on an opportunity. Like for example, like the main opportunity I missed on my comic is like if I actually just kept uploading all the time, like regularly, like that was so important. It was like it's like one of the most. It's probably the number one most important thing for any webcomic
Mm.
to upload
Consistency.
regularly. Like you
Mhm.
have to upload regularly because people are unforgiving, and
Mhm.
I mean it's really understandable that they are.
Mhm.
But people are unforgiving, and you miss a couple updates, you might lose like I don't know 10% of them. You know,
Mhm.
it's crazy. It's same goes for streaming. Like I
Mhm.
know so many like streamers from back in the day who like returned after a year, and like I don't know, they used to have like 20 to 30 viewers or something. Now they have like one when they return. It's like pretty sad, right?
Mm.
It's like it was never about their skill
Mm.
back in the day, even though their skill was good, it
Mhm.
was because they were riding that wave. So
Mhm.
it's like if you start something new and it's getting traction,
Mm.
stick to it,
Mhm.
seize the opportunity.
Mhm.
Don't just give up. Don't think that that's gonna be the same
Mhm.
forever.
Dude.
So that is pretty like I think that is the advice I would give so to myself.
Mm. No.
Hmm.
No, definitely. I relate to that on a spiritual level because when in 2019 I started doing YouTube a little bit more consistently, but overall I started doing theory videos and critics and analysis videos in 2018. My first one, like the first one that I had, got I don't know 23,000 views in like 24 hours. It
Mhm.
was my first ever theory video was my first ever video that wasn't gameplay because that's how I started, and I was like, oh my god, and like I got like a high from that, right? I was like, oh
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
god, I but I was also afraid. I was afraid of because I had major writing anxiety right back then. Like I had what I call today resistance. Like I was scared of writing. I was scared of the work. I was scared of the process, the result. I was scared of writing.
Mhm.
I had super writing anxiety, right? So I was like, I don't want to write any, not right now. Like always tomorrow. Like instead, I just kept gaming. I just kept playing games, and those videos never did well, ever, ever, ever. They never did well, but I
Yeah,
kept
because
doing
people
them.
don't care about that. People cared about what you posted initially.
Exactly, right. And I kept doing that, and I was like, I'm not getting views. Okay, let's do another one. And then I put like my heart and soul right to another video. Both were Rick and Morty, right? Like Yeah, I'm a very big fan of Rick and Morty, dude. Don't judge me.
It's pretty good. I don't know. I just didn't like the last seasons as much as the first ones. I think the first ones were better. I don't know.
So you
Just
didn't
felt
like,
felt bad.
so seasons 3 and 4 you didn't like.
I didn't say I didn't like them. It's like I didn't like them as much as the first ones.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it just shifted to something else, but it's
Mm-hmm.
fine.
All right. No, I get that. No, but like do you remember Mr. Poopy Butthole from season 2?
Jesus Christ.
I
I
know
actually did not like that at all. Like yeah, I do remember him. Okay, I do remember him. Yeah.
you do.
Oh, what about him?
So that was my first video. It was like, who really is he, right? Because there was like a very big debate online if he was like a parasite or not, and I offered a different perspective, right? Because there was also a
Yeah.
hot debate online saying that he was actually
Yeah.
Bill Cipher, just because of the
Oh,
top
that was
hat.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw something about that. Yeah.
yeah. So, but I wanted to do something different. I wanted my own perspective, but apparently the internet just likes for you to chew the food and throw it up and give you the same shit, right? They just want to be
Yeah.
mouth fed the same crap. Because, like, after I posted my theory, yes, I got a lot of views, but like the like to like ratio was like really balanced out. And in the comments, everybody's like, "No, he's Bill Cipher. This theory is wrong." And I'm like, you peasants. But yeah, like I also posted after that. I posted a video talking about there's a episode in season 3 where Rick and Morty go through this detoxify machine and
No. Yeah.
they get rid of their toxins, right? And I used to be obsessed with that idea of that episode. And I made a video about it. It was a very personal video, like talking about like you don't need your toxins, you don't need those the worst parts about you in your body,
Hmm.
right? And nothing. I got nothing from that video, like 100 views, I think, and
No one
like
cares.
that really destroyed my self
I don't know.
confidence.
It's like ah man, you can't actually let that destroy your confidence at all.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. Oh yeah, I used to like maybe that would be also like an advice for for every artist out there. Like this is a advice I will give you. Okay, your likes and dislikes are probably 90% affected by if people saw them or not, not if the art is good or not. Like
Mhm.
I mean, no, okay, let's just be real. It is affected if your art is by the fact if it's good. But if doesn't, if you feel like it's good, but it doesn't get likes, it's probably because no one saw it. It's not because it's not good enough. I mean, that is really hard to tell, I guess. Yeah, but it's just I would just like if people didn't care about it that much because the I feel like it's like social media has just destroyed our brains in this regard, where we just started caring about these likes and views and all this bullshit because we always see all the other artists like shared so much. You know, they get like thousands upon thousands of likes, retweets, whatever, and it just feels like I could be that guy. I could be in that place, right?
Mhm.
But you don't see the other ones. You don't see the ones that don't rise to the top, and they exist. Like sometimes I do find artists that are like I'm just baffled. Like why don't they have more? You know,
Mhm.
because their quality is the same like the other ones.
Or even better, right?
Or even better, but they just don't raise to the top because people didn't see them or like
Or
so
because
that's what actually made me realize that it's not just about your quality. It's about if there is a certain amount of luck there, but it's also like knowing the right people. I would say it's the most important thing. Like if you know the people on top, I guess, I mean, if you network with people, you will probably I get more, but the problem with I personally have with that, like networking with other artists, is like I feel like uh, I like to
you
be
might
a
get
bit
a boost, but it
open-minded
be
and
like
kind of
like any kind of like marketing and networking, like you might get a boost, but it might be an empty boost, right? For example, There is this
Could
thing
be,
on
yeah.
YouTube called YouTube Shorts. It's like you were talking about, like try to always experiment with new things that are coming out, right? So basically, YouTube was like, hey, TikTok is taking our views. We're gonna do the same crap that they're doing. So they're really marketing these shorts, right? So I super uploaded a bunch of shorts on my channel. I still do it, like I'm uploading less, but I'm still trying to upload shorts. If I think I have a good short to make, I try to upload it. But if like this drove me nuts. It made me happy, but it also drove me nuts. I posted a short that was literally our cat. It was like from a TikTok audio that was like, when I wake up in the morning, touch his little floopsters, pet his little mittens, give his nose a poopster. That's it.
What?
Yeah, that was like just a cute little short 9-second video. That
Okay.
video blew up overnight. It has 24,000 views.
Hmm.
And I got like 100+ subscribers from that. And it's like,
No, that basically like encapsulates it.
yeah, and it's like, hi, would you like to look at my other work? Where I
No.
talk about fucking philosophy, or I talk about, I don't know, like the importance of other aspects of humanity in media and entertainment. Those are pretty cool. I work very hard on those. Or I talk about literature, and everybody like, no, I like cat video. Cat video make me go brr.
But
So,
yeah, you can't really expect people who like that cat video to be interested in the other topics, though. To be fair, because they are like just maybe some of them will be, but most of them won't be because it was probably just something that saw on the YouTube algorithm, and
mm-hmm,
uh, it's like it's as we said before, like if you're posting uh, something in your theme, it
mm-hmm,
will probably get more traction.
mm-hmm.
And if you're being consistent with your artwork, like if you're doing pixel art, if you keep doing pixel art, you probably get more traction than if you do pixel art and then a painting and then something cartoony
Mm-hmm.
and then blah blah, and
Mm-hmm.
then an animation. If you do like 20,000 different things,
Mm-hmm.
people won't recognize you. People won't identify you.
Mm-hmm. You have to
So
find your
like
niche and
that's kind
stick
of a
to
problem.
it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that could become kind of boring eventually. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, but like I would say that my niche overall, like besides like a few meme videos here and there, is just like the theme of my channel is like looking through humanity through means of entertainment. So what do I mean by that? For example, I see a chick flick, right? And
Hmm.
the moral of the story of this chick flick is don't judge a book by its cover, right? And then
Hmm.
I talk about that in depth and why is it important to not judge a book by its cover, right? And how this basic looking girl movie can actually give you a lot more than what meets the eye, right? Which goes back to not judging a book by its cover. So like that's like always the kind of stuff that I do. But like I don't know, like I'm happy that I got 100 subs. I'm almost at 1,000, so close to 1,000. But um I don't know. It like sometimes when I look at my analytics on YouTube and I see like that my most popular videos, two of them are memes. They're just memes,
Yeah.
like, and like including the cat videos. Like I'm like I have a little bit of an existential crisis, but I will say that I have improved a lot with the whole not let taking quote unquote algorithm failure personally. Like one day I get to 23,000 views from a theory on Rick and Morty, then I make another video on Rick and Morty. I only get 100. I'm not gonna take that personally anymore. Definitely, I'm not taking it
Hmm.
personally anymore because it's not my fault. It's just it's a machine that controls everything, right? So yeah, definitely, it is something that I
Yeah,
learned.
kind of. I mean, you can kind of tweak your. Like for example, I know a guy. I mean, I don't know him, but he does pretty good content, right? Really, really in depth. but once he started doing like better, funnier thumbnails, he has more views, for example, right? Like,
Yeah.
so he kind of tweaked it a little bit, even
Mhm.
though, or like
Mhm.
more clickbaity
Mhm.
thumbnails or more clickbaity video titles,
Mhm.
and it started working better for him. But his content is still really good, right?
Mhm.
So it's like maybe sometimes you need to know the game, and just like it doesn't matter how good your thing is if no one sees it. So if you realize that, maybe you kind of need to balance it out a little bit. Sometimes do make some sort of clickbait or
Mhm.
something that's more popular, because at the end of the day, like, popular things do help us all, even
Mhm.
like niche artists. We
Yeah.
should never be mad about something that's popular, because it usually brings people into our field, let's call it, right?
Uh huh.
I think
Definitely.
I didn't realize this either. Like, I used to be like, I used to hate like popular thing. Oh, this is just they're doing it for the views and blah blah blah. I'm
Mhm.
not like that anymore. Or try to not be like that anymore, because I realized that is usually a net gain for everyone.
Mhm.
I mean, sometimes you do get some of the people, like, they maybe expect something different. Like,
Mhm.
sometimes when I get rated by people who don't really know my stream,
Mhm.
and I feel like they expect something different. Like, they expect some, let's just colloquially call it, anime shit. I wanted to say weep shit, but let's just say they expect more anime stuff from my stream, because a lot of the streams are very anime focused.
Mhm.
And when they don't get that, and when they ask, like, oh, like, when they realize that the last anime I watched was like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is like one anime for 5 years maybe I watched. It's like
Mhm.
I just don't know what they're talking about, so they kind of like dip.
I get that.
So that is the only downside of popular things. Like, people will have some expectations that you maybe won't meet,
Mhm.
because they're just so used to the type of content from other people, right?
Mhm.
Same goes for art as well.
Mhm.
You're a refugee from the weep shit. Be proud of that. Andromeda, I'm not. Every time, every day, I debate, like, should I change my art style to be more anime? I was like, no. I was like, no, but still, it's like, I don't know.
Nah, I get that.
It's
Why?
popular. It's popular for a reason.
Why don't you watch more anime? Like, do you just like are you like, it's fine, I guess, but I'm not really that interested in it.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's not. It's not that I don't like it. I just don't feel like I have time for it.
Right, I get that.
But I do have time for other stupid stuff. It's like,
I
you
get
know.
that, of course. You gotta set your
So I do have
priorities.
time for it, but I use my time differently.
No, I get it. I really do. It's like, because for example, for God knows how long, people are always been telling me my entire life, "Oh, Adara, you should watch this show, this series from
Yeah,
Netflix."
that's very annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, like, watch these 500 series from Netflix. They're all so good. Watch
Mm,
Stranger Things, watch
yeah,
Riverdale, watch this and that.
watch
And I'm just
Breaking
like,
Bad.
Breaking Bad. And like the other day, I don't know, I think I was watching WandaVision. And like, WandaVision was an exception for me because I like Marvel, right? So I make exceptions basically, but I don't watch all of the shows definitely. And there was a Malcolm in the Middle reference. Do you know it? Do you know what Malcolm in the Middle is?
Yeah, it's where the Breaking Bad guy went bad, and then he started fucking doing meth. No, selling meth. Probably doing meth as well.
I'm not.
No, I know. Brian Cranston. It's the Brian Cranston show.
Yeah. So
I
like,
remember it.
I know nothing about Malcolm in the Middle other than the name Malcolm in the Middle, right?
Okay.
And I don't know. We were watching WandaVision, and my boyfriend. We're with my boyfriend and his brother, and he says, "Oh, it's a Malcolm in the Middle reference," and I'm like, "The what now?" And he's like, and he just turns his head, like fucking Chucky doll. He just turns his head 180 degrees or something. It's like, you've never watched Malcolm in the Middle. Are you an uncultured swine? Both of them, by the way, like both of them
This
are
was
like,
very popular on German TV, so that's probably why. Because I remember, like, I only remember Malcolm in the Middle from German TV. That's where I saw it. Like, that's where they aired it all the time. Like
I
during the
see.
not the kids. I kind of like the kids block
Mm-hmm.
where there was like cartoons and stuff, and after the cartoons they aired Malcolm. Or
Mm.
like I don't know. I just remember it was always on the German TV when I was like clicking through, right? And I was like, oh, I'm not really interested in it that much. I don't know, but I do remember it existing.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's exactly that. And it's like I'm like, dude, I don't have time to watch every single popular thing that ever existed ever. Could it be good? I'm sure. I mean, is Stranger Things good? I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's enjoyable. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna make time for it. And
Probably.
like the thing is also as well video games, right? You said like you're an adult, stop playing games, right? Like obviously that's a joke. I get that that's a joke. But that joke aside, I have been like I have been told by so many people so for so long. It's like, why aren't you playing games? Play more video games. For like, what are we supposed to do with you if you don't play video games? You have to play more video games so we have more things to do together or something. I've been told by my
True.
friends that so much. So, oh, let's play this MMORPG. Let's play Among Us. Let's play this. Let's play that. And I'm like, dude, I don't.
Bogus.
Yeah, you know Among Us, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like yeah. So like I don't even have that, and it is like I have my Steam. I've bought so many games that I just never played, right? And it's like, look, I'm sure these games are fun. I'm sure that they're enjoyable, but I like the thing with like is like I don't have time for games anymore, and I don't enjoy playing video games anymore, right? I don't enjoy it anymore. It's not fun anymore. Like I
I mean, if people
care.
are forcing you to do it, it's even worse. Like, if people want you, you definitely don't want to do it. It's like when people tell
Exactly.
me to watch something, I'm like, no,
Exactly.
no,
Is
I'm not gonna. But, actually, usually, eventually, I'm like, okay, I'll check it out, maybe. I'll check
yeah.
it out.
No, like in my case is more like I feel guilty for not playing games anymore, right? But like because like if I had time, I would. But I don't. So I don't play games anymore, right? But if I had more time, like I used to tell myself, I even told Proxen this a lot. It's like the only way that I would get back at playing video games would be if it profited me in some way. For
Uh,
example, say my YouTube career blew up and I became like a personality online, and
Among
people
Us.
yeah, and people are like, Adara, you need to play video games. I'd be like, okay, guys, I'm gonna start Twitch streaming, and I get money from that. Sure, then it's worth my time. But other than that, it's like nah. Which is also like the curse. I feel like I'm cursed now because I can't enjoy anything casually anymore. I have to make everything into content. It's ruined me, dude. I watch WandaVision, gonna make a podcast about it. I watch Soul, gonna make a video about it. I don't know. Ray of the Last Dragon, we saw that movie, the new Disney movie. I was like, I don't want to make a review about it, but I kind of want to make something with it. And
Yeah, but
then
why do you feel like compelled to do it? Like, do
I
you,
don't.
because you don't really have to do it?
I know I don't. Like, for example, I don't know. I don't know why. It's like, I guess it's this. It's difficult to explain. I can't even give you a reason right now, but everything I see as potential content, right? It's like, I don't know, Soul, for example. Oh my god, this is a brand new movie that is really good. If I make a video about it, it might blow up, but it also might not blow up. Have it, My Hero Academia? Like, there's a meme of like the main character Deku, where he's like always muttering
No,
about.
not really. I I mean, I've seen like first 4 episodes of that show, so that's
Right.
all I
No.
have. All I
No.
know. But Deku is like the main dude, like
Yeah,
the
he's the
one with the
main
spiky
dude.
hair, right?
Yeah,
All right.
like Deku. If you see in the first episode, he's like a hero nerd, right? He collects data about all the heroes, right? And it's
Yeah, true. He's
yeah,
like a fanboy even.
exactly. So that's my brain when I'm thinking about media, all media, and making
Hmm.
YouTube content. Like, I think about YouTube all day, every day, 24/7. I'm obsessed with it because, like, that's how much. It's like, you said in the very beginning, oh, when I was a child, I used to draw all day, every day. I didn't even think about it, I just drew. And that's me with YouTube. So it's not so much I have to make everything into content. I just see potential in making everything into content. Obviously, there's just no time to make everything, but I do like pick the stuff. I have like this enormous list of ideas of things that I want to make videos into, right? So like I'm always like I because I'm a very person that's really excited about talking about things
Hmm.
that I'm passionate about. So I guess that's why I want to make it into content. I guess it's not so much because content itself, but I guess I just want to talk about it. I guess that's one of the main reasons why I do YouTube and why I started this podcast. I just like
Hmm.
I see like media as a collection. That's how I interpret media. It's like a collection in my brain. For example, when I was younger, whenever I watched an anime, I would write a review about it in a journal. And the way that I looked at it, it was like I collected that anime. So
Hmm.
I know it's strange. It's a really strange concept, but yeah, that's how I see it. But anyways, let's move on. I wanted to ask you because we talked about writing a little while ago, but how is the writing process for you? Like, I would like to know, like, because I think your webtoon is a bit slice of life, right? It's about these women that work in the bathhouse, and it's also about these mages, something like
Yeah,
that.
definitely. It's a bit like a mix.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, like the way it ended up being slightly slice of life was because I was just watching I said I don't watch anime, but I was watching an anime at the time called Nichijou. It was
Right.
like I had like these little like snippets and clips of what the hell is going on, right?
Right. I know of it.
And I had like this adventure story in my head,
Mm-hmm.
and the adventure story was very like streamlined, right? And I didn't like that. So I was like, what if I just combine the two somehow, and just the story will slowly build up
Mm-hmm.
to actual like a, like a story.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it ended up being a slice of life. But the writing process for me is basically, mm, I mean, I usually just write the chapter. Like I usually used to like write the chapter in text, in like pure text, right? And then I just try to adapt it into comic form. So I
Uh-huh.
just throw a lot of stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just wrote basically like a script,
Mm-hmm.
or like a like let's call it like a super script. Like a script would, in my terms, would be for one chapter, right? That
Mm-hmm.
would be like a script, and a super script would be like, okay, but how does these chapters like connect, or like how do they interacting with each other? That would be like a superscript. I don't know. Like I basically had like multiple files of this just like stacked on top of each other,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew where it's going. Like okay, this is going to be the direction, but I always like let it open, like how we gonna get there.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, the way to patch that out was to make the characters as consistent as possible. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just tried to think about like basically just try to know the characters as much as I can, because there was like this sentence in this manga called Bakuman. Bakuman. It's about
Yeah.
writing anime, not anime, writing manga.
No, I know it.
Where
Yeah.
where there was this guy who basically said that he just makes the characters and then they show him what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something like, okay, that really sounds like the way I want to do things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically how I write most of it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the characters just don't want to do what I want them to do, and I just can't. So I have
Mm-hmm.
to find like a different workaround, or I just have to throw it away, right? It's basically like my writing process. It's just I just know the characters. I kind of want to steer them in a certain direction, and I just try to do that. Just steer them somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
So
know.
the comic is character driven. You just like you have your characters and then you just give them little
Yeah, basically.
situations, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
at the moment, do you have like this overarching story in your mind, like since you had like a lot of files about it, or have you given up on the on an overarching story? You just want to do like slice of life forever.
Oh, I do have an overarching story, 100%. Like, it's just so hard to see it, basically because it's stretched out. But for the people who are like, mostly for the people who are new and read it like in one chunk, it seems very like it seems more coherent to them than to the people who have been following it for years. Because, as I said, the update regularity isn't that great. Because the way I do it, I always write it first and then I start drawing it. Like I never like just to draw it as I go, because that I tried to do that before, like with different comics when I didn't even publish out, and it just never worked out because I just don't feel like that could ever work out. But so many artists, when they start a comic, they don't even have like a script. They are so good at art, but they don't even script it. Like they just kind of go with the flow, like
Mm-hmm.
one page at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is like, if you're a writer, you know that's not gonna end up well, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just know like you need at least some form of script.
You need order, like otherwise.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
like,
it's just
yeah,
gonna fall apart so fast.
yeah. I mean, there are definitely writers that do that, but though, I mean, artists that do that, right? That, for example, Hayao Miyazaki does that. The guy that made the Studio Ghibli,
Yeah.
My Neighbor Totoro, Spirited Away, those movies, you know them?
Actually, you know what? That does make sense, because I don't think his stories are that cool. Like they don't
Coherent,
seem to
right?
have that much overarching plot or whatever I want to call
Mm-hmm.
it. Like if when I remember like Spirited Away was just like a bunch of stuff happening and then it ended.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it was just super beautiful. I don't know.
Exactly. It was all about like the mood. It wasn't so much
Yeah,
about
it
the
had like
story.
the same message, right? Like everything seemed to have the same message of like environment, or like cleansing the environment, and you can't mess with nature. Like I don't know. I feel like Miyazaki is always like, you can't mess with nature. Don't mess with nature. This is what happens. Like
Exactly.
almost always, or like, don't mess with the spirits. I
Mm-hmm.
think that was Spirited Away. Like
Yeah,
just
that
don't
was.
explore uh basically
Don't
the
eat
things that you
spirit
cannot
food
understand.
or you will turn
Just
into
let them.
piggy.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, that was one of those messages. I know, it was just like a nice, sort of chill thing to
Mm-hmm.
watch.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. But yeah, for him it works, but it's like that's the thing. It works for very few people. Like only if you're like like a super creative person who has the vision to create something more based on feeling than thinking like Miyazaki does, then yeah. Um, but anyways, I wanted to ask you as well, like, do you ever think or wish that you could hire assistants for your comic? For example, for backgrounds and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on it?
Uh, that's a bit of a surprising question, to be honest. And didn't I mean, usually I thought that artists are very underpaid people.
Right.
So I was always like, only if I can really pay them, I would hire assistants, right? Like I would never want like some, let's say, just like a lifelong fan doing it for free because they just love it so much. Because I know there's people like that, right? Like just
Mhm.
like give them an unfair wage or something, like just really underpay them just because they're a fan or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it would be helpful for sure.
Mhm.
But I don't know which part of the process I would give to assistant because I've learned to be so independent of everything, right?
Mhm.
But maybe stuff like flatting, like coloring, like that just takes so much time. Like I feel like the coloring part, that is the worst part of about making the comic. It just takes three times much, 3 times as much time as everything else. Like, you like just don't, you have no idea. Like you just draw the characters, you draw the backgrounds, you draw everything, and then like the coloring. For some reason, I just that is fucking so long. I don't know.
What about
That
line work?
Yeah, line work. I'm not the best line artist, so and I like to keep my lines a bit looser.
Mhm.
And every time I try to make lines too perfect, I
Mhm.
don't like the end result. So it's a bit bad because if I had an assistant and if I had bad lines and an assistant, the assistant would probably go crazy. Uh, you know, but lines like depending on how good you want them, sure they can take a lot of time as well. Like, but I never felt like line art, like a super tight line art, is my way to go when it comes to art or like when it comes to my pictures. I
Right.
kind of like to overpaint everything. It just makes it a bit more rough, makes it a bit more.
All
I don't
right.
know. Back in the beginning, I definitely didn't like clean lines a lot more. Now I can tolerate them. I don't know why.
Mhm.
It's just like preference, I suppose. Maybe it's just because I'm bad. Like that could also be an explanation for a lot of things. Like if you're just bad at doing lines, they will just suck,
Mhm.
and you think like you hate clean lines, but maybe you're just drawing the wrong shapes.
Mhm.
I
It
always
could
have
be.
theories why I am just bad, and I just don't understand what I'm trying to do, and that's why it looks bad. I don't know.
Right. I also wanted to ask you, because I'm curious about this. How do you earn money from being an independent webtoon artist? Because, like, I know that, like, if you get a contract, like, for example, do you post on Webtoon, or what was this other site? What was the site that you post again? I'm sorry.
To pass is one of them, and the other one's Webtoons.
Mm-hmm.
And like my main source of income would be like Patreon and
Uh-huh.
Twitch streaming. That's like just kind of combined, but there wasn't really much of an income. Really, like it was nice, and the worst part is like people actually do put a lot of money, but the way you want it to be is like you want to be popular and you want to have a lot of like loyal fans,
Mm-hmm.
and until it builds up to basically like a living wage.
Uh-huh.
So the thing, I supplement my income with working for another webcomic artist
Mm-hmm.
by like doing some writing stuff for him, and like maybe I used to help him with writing a lot, but nowadays it's more like I just check the dialogue, I check the grammar, and I just tell him if it flows or not. So it's not dead. I don't influence the story or something the way I used to for him, or like help him with the writing as much as him. I'm actually pretty passionate about that subject, but I always thought like art isn't that important. Like the most important thing is writing.
Really? So,
Yeah, I
so
always thought that, but
Why then, like, why didn't you become a writer instead of a digital artist?
Hmm, because to me it wasn't never separated. Like, as far as I know, I always just drew comics. I never like drew art alone. It was always like together.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I had a very hard like it was very hard for me to understand why someone would just draw some picture that's just pretty. I just didn't understand what's the point of the picture just being pretty if it doesn't tell a story. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
uh, I actually had a no joke. Like I had problems understanding this in the beginning. I mean, now I get it better, but still, like it was always like because no one ever told me. You know, when I was a kid, like I usually just drew comics or like stuff. It was always a sequence of pictures. It was never like one picture. I never like drew something. And okay, maybe very occasionally I drew one thing, but I usually put something in the background that just indicates some sort of story or something. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so so to me it was always like connected, comics and writing,
Mm-hmm.
uh, until I later, you know, through like osmosis, through like watching videos, reading articles, maybe. I realized that wait, that it's actually like separate things. There's a comic script writer, there's a comic artist, you know, there's a script supervisor. There's so many like different things, like editors. I was like, oh, okay. There's so many things that comes to like writing and art, but I always felt like writing is basically the heart of the comic, and the art itself is like a sugar coating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, something like that.
That's actually pretty interesting. I never thought that someone would have that kind of perspective. What about artists that draw an image, but like one image, but they don't necessarily have like a story, but they do have a message. For example, one of my favorite artists is this guy called Paul Kuk. Fuck, I always butcher his name.
Cuckoo fuck.
Yeah, no, it's Kuklinski. Kuklinski. Like I always have like a problem naming him. Kuklinski. Like I know he's like
Kuklinski.
yeah, like let me just show you for example one of his arts, but basically all of his art is trying to say something, right? It has maybe some kind of political message or social message, right?
Oh, I found someone else. I found Richard Kuklinski, who is a serial murderer.
Oh, no, 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 no. Let me copy his name and post it in the chat so you have an idea of
All
who
right.
he is. Yeah, that's how you spell his name.
Oh, Pavel.
Yeah. Just
Pavel
look.
Kuczynski.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's in
Just look at
Polish.
One Punch Man. The original web comment was trash art, but people loved the story, and now it has a really skilled mangaka redrawing the web comic. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely
Yeah,
true.
but I think the thing about the One Punch Man is like it wasn't just about the writing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, it was about the writing, but I think the main reason wasn't because the story was like super like groundbreaking or anything. It was so fucking funny. It was
Mm-hmm.
just so funny. Like people really, 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 really loved it. You know, and if
Mm-hmm.
something is that funny, if you make it into a serious art style, it's even funnier.
Mm-hmm.
And it just becomes even better. You know, so I feel like One Punch Man was it's a bit of an oddity.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, it was such a. It's a very unique thing, right? Let me like I'm going to post one of his art pieces that I don't know, I just like a lot. But yeah, I was actually dude, dude. Okay, thank you. Um my teacher actually introduced me to him, my Spanish teacher, you know. and like it was the first time, well, maybe not the first time, but I got reminded after a very long time that sometimes there is art out there that is, like meaningful and modern and always trying to tell a message. For example, this one. Uh, Hold on. Okay, yeah, this one, for example. I'm putting it in the thingy right now. So it's like a cat taking a shit on like a mouse's funeral, right?
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, the kind of like this is the kind of art that he makes, right? So like you can interpret this in two ways, right? Like you can even think about it in like the World War II a perspective where I think like the Jerrys were like the Jews and like the Toms were like the Nazis. Or you can think about it in a political sense as like the mice are like the common folk and the cats are the big cats are like the politicians and the 1% and how like the people like they don't care about the people. We're all just like cogs in the machine to them. We don't matter as individuals, nothing like that.
Yeah, I see a different interpretation, but it's fine.
What's yours? You can tell me
Like,
definitely.
I mean, to me, it's more like taking a shit on our like, and like if someone dies, they basically just become dust or like they just become dirt.
Uh
And to
huh.
me, it's like almost the making fun of the fact how serious we are about that.
Mhm.
I don't know, like that's what I see, but I mean, sure, you can see it in multiple different angles.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
definitely, and that's another like interesting thing. Like his art, you can even see it in multiple ways. Like that's what makes it even more interesting. So like I said, my art teacher introduced him to us, right?
mhm.
So he would the first image that he showed us, he actually had a poster of it, and he brought it to class, and he had it hanging in the classroom. And we discussed him, right, and it was this image, right? Um, so
Yeah,
like, so yeah, Powell like really likes using Facebook in his art. Like he really hates Facebook.
that is pretty. That's pretty boomer shit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
because Facebook, who cares about Facebook anymore? You
yeah,
know.
that's true. But like, I mean, if you think about it, he has been doing this for a very long time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's probably like either an older one or like it's just supposed to be like social media
Yeah,
in
definitely.
in a nutshell. I mean, there's a date in there. I think it's 2013. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, like, but I think it's like still like accurate in the sense like you don't even need to see it just as Facebook. You can just see it as social media itself.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
YouTube.
So, what do you think about this kind of art? The art that has like a commentary to it, but is not necessarily telling a story, but it has like a message that it's trying to portray.
Uh, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it has does have its place, but to me, it's mm, I mean, I like how well it actually portrays what it's trying to say. Like the message is very clear.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, this is like it's it's things that I think a lot of us have been thinking about without even seeing this. You know,
That is true.
uh, to me, these things aren't like. I mean, maybe there are people who's gonna get their mind blown by this. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because they never thought about it.
Right.
And I just don't want. I don't want to sound smug about it or anything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I think it's good that we have art like this. And the reason and the good thing about like I think we need art about more stuff like this because
Hello?
Because of our no, I'm just thinking like
I thought that it cut, but it's okay. Yeah.
I mean, people just freely expressing their concerns about where we are heading or where society is at. I think that's a good thing. It's always gonna be a good thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, if, but I can't help to see like how this person is very concerned about the young generation,
Yeah.
and I happen to know that this has been a this has been a thing for as long as humanity can remember. Like uh, older people always have problems with younger generations. It doesn't matter which generation it is.
That's
Like
true.
it used to happen. So you know,
Yeah.
and I am in a way trying to for it to not happen to me
Mm-hmm.
because in okay, here's one thing. Like I recently started watching uh a series of animations called Anna or Ina or whatever,
Hmm.
and it's really weird and random, and I didn't really appreciate it or understand it until I looked into it a bit better. Uh, because you don't understand it unless you understand young people or like young people culture on the internet a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So that is when I caught myself being like, wait, maybe it's more deep than I thought. Like maybe people just interpret things differently than I do. You know, I just because okay, just to be more concrete, you know how like I was thinking like stories should have plot, characters, and all that good stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is so random. It's just shit, right? It's just random things happening and random jokes happening.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, okay, what if the young people, what if this is preferred for young people because they grow up in a world where everything is shared on YouTube and everyone's just remixing stuff, right? So they
Mm-hmm.
have a different perspective about media. Like for them, it's more interesting maybe if the story isn't there because they can make their own stories and discuss it among themselves, or remix it, or make a video because that's if the expectation is I'm gonna make a video about it and then discuss it, then you have a different view of a story. You don't want them to tell you what it is. You
Mm-hmm.
want them to leave the gaps open so you can fill the story in yourself, but you just give like little hints, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just live online, your perspective is warped. Like when I was born, we didn't have the internet, right? But there's
Right.
people who have been like there's people who are younger than YouTube.
Yeah.
So for them, YouTube has always been a thing. Always, always, always. It's really hard to imagine how that is. And these like communities that form around like very niche stuff, like they are hidden. They are not popular. They are popular maybe among a couple of people,
Mm-hmm.
or like a couple thousand people, right? But it's like a subculture. It's like a legitimate subculture. And I think once like one of these subcultures emerges to the top, people get confused and they just don't understand and they think, oh, it's all shit because you kids don't even know what a story is. You know, a story should be structured. A story needs to have characters. Like you can't just make up a world like this. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you can imagine how someone would be upset about it, but
Mm-hmm.
just because you don't see it immediately as being something deep, that doesn't mean it doesn't have depth or like doesn't have a same kind of interpretation as we had when we read the stories of our time or something. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
I know. You're a big horror fan, right?
Not really, actually. No.
You're not?
Where did you get that?
It's because I saw you quoting Meat Cannon's videos so often, so I thought, oh shit,
Oh,
he likes horror. Nice.
I mean, I kind of just like him.
Mhm.
uh, I really don't like certain types of horror.
Mhm.
To me, the cartoony horror isn't that scary, but
Right.
I
Cause
was never like a huge fan of horror. No,
I get
I
that.
don't like to get scared. Actually,
I get that.
to me, this stuff is more like creepy and weird,
Uh huh.
and the creepy weird. But it's also comedic, right? It's like comedic horror, and
Mhm.
comedic horror isn't that scary to me, at least.
I get that. No,
I
what?
mean, it can be a bit haunting sometimes, but still.
Duh. No, I asked you because I wanted to ask if you knew what salad fingers was.
Oh yeah.
So, David Firth, I follow him on Twitter, and he tweeted something very interesting that connects to what you were saying, right?
David Firth, right?
Yeah, the creator of salad fingers. He said, "Does this have, like, quote unquote, does this have a deeper meaning, or is it just some random crap thrown together?"
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, "Complete misunderstanding of the artistic process."
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like I feel like that was like an interesting connection to what you
Yeah,
were
yeah,
saying,
kind
right?
of. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like they people want to like just constrain it into a way that they understand the world, but maybe it's just something out of that. It's
Exactly.
maybe it's just something they don't understand because they never thought that it could be something different, right?
Mhm. Definitely. Like I also like wanted to ask you if you watched Courage the Cowardly Dog when you were younger.
I did not, but
Oh.
I kind of know what it is about. It's basically like like basically a series of cartoon horror stories, right? Or
Yeah.
something like really strange horror kind of
Yeah.
stories.
No, because like we were talking about perfection, right? And it's just something I remembered right now, because the very last episode, the very last episode was called Perfect, and there is the quote in this like in the episode that's like, "There's no such thing as perfect. Um, you can do anything you set. You are wonderful as you are." No, hold on. "You are wonderful as you are. With your determination, you can do anything." So, but yeah, whatever. Let's move on. We were talking about like Powell over here. Like I told you that I really like his art. But I wanted to ask you, what are some of your favorite classic or modern artists, non digital, and what kind of art do you like the most? Like, what do you look at and you're like, oh yeah, this is the best art, like that art itself, like this represents art, or it's like, no, that's not art, like that's just Pepega, like.
Non-digital artist and modern.
Mm-hmm. Or it could be old, like old artists, like it could be like classic artists, like the fucking stereotypical like Leonardo, Salvador Dali, or what was Vincent van Gogh, because like I was actually having a conversation about this with Proxen the other day, about what is art to him versus what is art to me. And to
Mm-hmm.
him, something that resembles reality, but it's like in a beautiful way, like something that's very close to reality but not quite, and is full of detail and it's beautiful to him, like that's the best kind of art. But for me, that kind of art is boring. The kind of art that I like mostly is the surrealism kind of art, which is like Vincent van Gogh's or Salvador Dali. Like I like all of that chaos, all of that
Mm-hmm.
craziness. That's for me is like the best kind of art. So
Mm-hmm.
what would it be for you?
Hmm. Well, I'm not really well versed in like classic painters or classic art.
Mhm.
I was never really that interested, but there is one painting that I like.
Okay.
Uh, and it comes to my mind that I find very interesting, but I am trying to find it. So you have to give me some time
It's okay.
because I know how it looks like. I just kind of have to Google it up.
It's all right. Take your time. In the meantime, I'm gonna read the chat because I have been neglecting it a little bit. Uh,
Can I just post it in the?
in the Discord, yeah, sure. Like in the chat.
Wait. Is there
So
a
I mean,
higher quality?
I see the great skill in symbolism and information comprehension, but my mind screams boomer think phone bad for half. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, Sir Crackwaffle. Yeah, yeah, I definitely see that. Like, yeah, that's a very fair point. Um,
this one is pretty. I posted it in chat.
all right, let's
I
see.
mean, it's not the best quality, I guess.
Oh, dude, this is just isn't this like heaven versus hell, I
Yes.
think. Yeah, I remember this. I played like a game called like Four Last Things, and this was like one of the main paintings that it tackled. I just put this sucker in the thingy, so it's in the stream as well. Let's see.
It's not the best quality. I'm actually looking for a better quality.
I mean, it's just for
Oh,
like,
Garden of Earthly Delights, it's called.
yes, Garden of Earthly Delights.
By Hieronymus Bosch.
Uh,
Hieronymus, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but it seems like his name is Hieronymus Bosch.
mm-hmm. No, all
Oh
right.
man, there has to be a better version of this. Like, come
No,
on.
I think it's fine. I mean, it's just for like discussion purposes, right? So, what about
But I want the
this?
chat to see though.
Right,
Oh,
right,
I found it. Oh, I got it. Oh, I found like a super giga mega hyper version, but it just has to load up.
right.
Wait.
I put
No.
it in the stream like as big as I possibly could. Um, because I can't put it bigger than what it is now, because it would like cover our faces and
Yeah,
stuff.
but this is the good version that you want to click on.
Right, right.
That you have all those details in.
All right, perfect.
So
So,
yeah, there is some fucking there's some symbolism with this artwork. Basically, how it's kind of supposed to show how people just start
mm-hmm,
going apeshit eventually if they are just giving everything they want and it just becomes hell.
mm-hmm.
At least that's how I interpret it, and I mean, it's just interesting. It's just so interestingly weird if you look at all the details in this artwork because it resembles realism, but if you look at the things that are drawn or painted there, it's just so like wild and out of this world. It's almost like an alien made this. It has that weird quality that I like about it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just I guess it would be one of my paintings that I enjoy to look at because there's just so many things that you can look at. And there's like so many interpretations. It's probably like biblical, right? But
Right, yeah. I mean, but I
uh,
definitely see how you can interpret it as non-biblical as well. Right, because the first thing that, because I only know this painting as like heaven and hell, but
mhm.
you did mention like this is what happens when people are given everything that they want. So that's
Yeah.
like an interesting interpretation of it as well. So I'm looking at it up close, right? And like I see a little thing where it's like two people having sex inside of like a clamshell. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah,
No, but
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So, what do you love in particular about this painting?
Hmm. Mainly how uncanny it feels.
You think it feels uncanny?
Yes, I do feel it. It feels like that there are some figures that you think you recognize, but then if you look closer, it just gets really weird. And I think that's how the painting was just meant to feel,
Right,
which I really appreciate. Like just it's just like uncomfortable to look at.
right, definitely.
Maybe it's because some of the animals anatomies are weird, and I don't know if that's on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think it's on purpose, but maybe it's not on purpose. Maybe it's just because the anatomy of these animals was not that well understood at the time. But it's just weird. I don't know. It's just a little thing that it's not a, okay. It's not a little thing. There's a lot of details in it, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like, as I said, I'm not really well versed in paintings and like classic paintings. So, but this is just what came to my mind when I thought about something interesting. I guess it's mainly the storytelling. Is just there's so much stories that you can take away from this.
Definitely.
I like illustrations that have a lot of story.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it doesn't seem to me as one sided, or not as one sided, but as simplistic as some of the ones that you showed me,
Mm-hmm.
where there was like one or two to three interpretations because the message was more clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the message was trying to be more clear in
Mm-hmm.
those,
Mm-hmm.
but this is more like there's like 100 things going on, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
that's more that's kind of interesting to me, but uh yeah, I don't know. Like I guess that'll be it. I just don't know much about modern art. But I have seen art similar to what you posted, done
Mm-hmm.
by someone else.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember who it was. But it was very very similar note, and yeah, it was also pretty interesting. I don't know. But once you get into the range of like straight up political art, because that what you posted isn't like 100% like political art, it
Mm-hmm.
can just have that interpretation. But
Mm-hmm.
once you get into like too much politics and art, I just kind of tune out. I'm just not interested in that, you know. It's just
Yeah.
like
No, like
because it's like propaganda almost at that point.
no, yeah, definitely. No, there is definitely like a fine line, right? Like you shouldn't cross, like don't turn art into something too political. Because like I remember when I was in school and we always had to dissect political comics and I just hated it so much. I'm like, fuck this, I hate this. But there are some
Yeah,
that I like, it's just I don't know. I've like Pablo's work. I don't know. I think there's just a certain beauty to it. And like you said, it's like, yeah, I know this. I don't need to be told this. But like, yeah, boomer comics. Boomer comics, yeah. That's a good way to call it. But
yeah.
art like Powell's, like even if there are messages that I might have thought about at one point, I feel like they are things that is nice to remember because some of them, right, not all of them. And I don't know, they don't feel so much like boomer art like the guys in the chat said, right? Powell's at least, like, yeah, it's like you part of you is like, yeah, boomer is sick of these young people
Phones.
and phones, right? But I don't know, I just really appreciate how he's like,
I mean, he's right in a way. Like,
yeah, he is like, yeah, to a certain extent he has a point, right? And I guess I like how creatively he shows that point, right? Like,
that is true. Yeah, he found like 1,000 ways of saying it. That's interesting.
yeah,
Because maybe it resonates with with some people.
yeah.
Uh, that don't get. I mean, but other people just don't get the message from one of them. You know,
Hmm.
but maybe they get the same message from another one, another source. So
Yeah,
in a way,
definitely.
it's a good strategy to tell your message consistently.
Like, so I actually used to do intensive art in high school.
Hmm.
It was called the IB, International Bachelorette. And I actually, I got inspired by Powell's work, and I actually drew my own, like, art piece that was, inspired by his kind of style. Do you want to see it?
Oh, okay, sure.
No, you said, oh, no, you don't want to see it. Forget it.
No, I just
No, it's
I,
fine. It's
I
fine.
just imagined the. I don't know. I don't know how serious you are about that piece. You know.
No,
Sorry if I.
no, it's fine. It's just a stupid little drawing. Don't worry about it. There's one more question that I have. This is like the last one I have. So I wanted to ask you that if you ever like enjoyed traditional art in the sense of like drawing with like painting or acrylic or oil or pencil or Crayola, etc. And what of those instruments you like or liked or disliked? And do you still draw traditional art today, like for fun or as a pastime? Like for
Can you
example,
please show me that artwork?
what the
Please, I want to see it. No, I really wanted to see it. I was just like, I didn't mean it like that.
no, you don't have to feel bad.
No, it's not about that. Come on, like just
That's
it's not a reaction that I have like when I don't want to see something. That wasn't it. I was just like it was more like a laugh, like
right.
because I thought you I don't know, like I just maybe got a different feeling about how you feel about it, but I do want to see it. It's
All
not and it's
right.
not because I feel bad, okay? Don't think that.
Okay. I have to find it though.
Yeah, all right.
Uh.
I'll just try to answer your question because it's not a very hard one. Uh,
Okay.
I do like to draw sometimes with pencils. That's basically it. I really don't like traditional art that much. When I do traditional art, that
Yeah.
is actually so funny.
You think? I'm trying
Yeah.
to turn it around, but I can't. I can't turn it
You
around.
can just click. You can just right click on in OBS and you
Oh,
find transform
transform. Transform.
and there should be like
Rotate 90
yeah
degrees.
yeah yeah.
There we go. Thanks. Yeah. So
I
that's
don't see it on stream yet, but I believe you did it. Oh yeah, okay.
there.
Hashtag error. Yeah, you see it? That's actually really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, it does work, right? It does work.
yeah. So
Uh,
my
but why the
idea.
music notes though?
It's because it's a bird. It's like
Okay.
right. It's pretty much and the hashtag there like airhead, right?
Yeah, I get
So
it.
my comment I feel like this is more like I hate to be that boomer sentence, but this is more prevalent today than it ever was before because like you
But
know
it
how
is.
yeah, you know how Twitter has just become a toxic dumpster fire, especially the older
Oh
it
yeah.
gets, right? So people are always trying to cancel people on Twitter, right? So
Mhm.
like I had that mindset, I had those thoughts even back then, right? So
Mhm.
it's kind of subtle. I don't know if it's subtle or not, but I gave the bird eagle claws, right? So the Twitter bird
Oh, okay.
is like an innocent, tiny little blue bird who's just like spreading around rumors, spreading around like gossip and tea, right? But it's like clawing your brain with its eagle claws, right? So
Yeah.
it's like a predator dressed up in prey. Like
It's
it
more powerful than you think.
exactly.
Yeah, it just doesn't translate that well because it's not clear if you drawn the legs because you don't know how to draw them if you draw them on purpose like that. Like it's just harder to tell.
Yeah.
But like I'm like yeah, I get it. Like it's pretty smart. Yeah, true. But yeah, like to end that question, like every year I try to do some ink drawings, and if I ever had to do like traditional,
Mhm.
I think what I enjoyed the most is just colored pencils and black ink.
Mhm.
When you just draw something with like just pure black ink, and then you use color pencils as
Mhm.
your coloring tool.
Oh, I
That's
love
usually
that.
what I like. But I would if there was I would like to try watercolor. Like watercolor is interesting to me.
Yeah, definitely. Watercolor can be so relaxing, It's just like the more what like I don't know, I always liked watercolor as well. It's like something that I feel like it's easy to paint with watercolor. I feel like if you paint like when it comes to paint, it's like the easiest utensil to use because
Yeah, if you want to use it just like the
be,
way like I don't know in any way you want it, like just relax. But I've seen some really good like watercolor usage,
mhm.
and usually you have to use the background a lot. You have to use the whiteness of the background
Mhm.
together with like very good ink and very good line art, and you can make some really 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 good art like that.
Definitely. No, in my case, I also really like pink. paint, right? Ink,
Hmm.
like you said. Like I love like anything that has to do with ink. I love doing that. And another thing that, but instead of pencils, I always liked coloring with crayons. I don't know why. I just really,
Hmm.
really always, I always loved crayons. Maybe it's because I don't know, I like their texture, I like their smell, I like that there are so many different colors. Because I guess I don't know how to color with pencils because every time I color with pencils it looks like shit. But if I color with crayons, like I have a technique for crayon coloring, so it can end up looking actually pretty decent, I think at least.
Yeah,
So,
sure. I mean, crayons are. I've never used them really, but they do have a different feel to them.
yeah. So, yeah, that's gonna be it. Those were all my questions. Thank you so much, dude, for joining me. This was really fun.
Yeah,
Like,
no problem. It was fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you, everybody, so much for coming to the podcast. Now we're going to finally end it here. Is there something else that you wanted to say or talk about before we go?
Yeah, don't give up on your dreams, however big they are.
That's a good message, dude. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. No, really,
Right.
really. Thank.
Right.
All right. Thank you again so much for joining me. I have been Adara, your host, and this has been my guest, Egoman Freeman. Do you want to like shout out anything, promote, self promote this time? Like I think all of us here,
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
we're good. Like
Yeah.
this episode is going to be put on YouTube, so I'll put like your comic and your Twitch stream like in the
Oh,
description
okay.
of that. So
Sure,
yeah.
sure. Thanks.
I hope y'all have a wonderful evening and have a lovely time, guys. See you next week. Bye bye.
Bye, chat.